If you want to know what's actually in the SAVE Act, just hang out with me here for a minute. I'll show you. I've just read it a couple of times, and we're going to go through it real quick so you don't have to read it. Of course, you can go read it if you want to, or we can go through it right here because I've screenshotted the bill, basically. There's been a lot of anger and discussion and angst about this bill since it passed the House. Well, really for a long time, but it just passed the House. Talk about voter suppression, taking away women's rights, names on birth certificates, things like this nature. So let's just go through it and look at it. Now, the first thing I will say, a lot of people have said it's already illegal to vote in the United States if you're not a citizen. That is true. That is 100% true. This law is redundant. And that is that it doesn't really need to exist. And when Congress passes laws that don't need to exist, people start to wonder, what are you up to? I think that is leading to a lot of the apathy towards this piece of legislation. But let's go through it. Keep in mind, this is what you need to register to vote, okay? This is what you need to register to vote. Basically, you need all the things you would need to go get a real ID, right? A form of identification issued consistent with the requirements of the Real ID Act of 2005. So that's been in place for 20 years. What you need to get a real ID, that's what you need to register to vote. A valid United States passport. Nothing to talk about there. Official United States military identification card along with record of military service, because you don't have to be a citizen to serve in the military. So if you present an ID card, you also got to show record of service. And down below, a valid government issue photo ID card issued by federal, state, or tribal governments saying that the applicant's place of birth was in the United States. That can include a certified birth certificate issued by a state, a unit of local government, and a state or tribal government, which was issued by the state, unit of local government, or tribal government in which the applicant was born or was filed with the official responsible for keeping vital records, and includes full name, date of birth, place of birth, and the applicant. This is the paragraph people are getting upset about because it says your birth certificate should have your name on it. That's the only place in all of this legislation that anyone could possibly connect the dots of women's names and married names and all of this stuff. This is the only place where that is mentioned at all. I don't quite understand how saying someone's name should be on their birth certificate leads to women being disenfranchised. Not by reading this piece of legislation. I don't see it. If it was there, I would say so, but I don't see it. It also has to have the names of the people that signed the birth certificates on behalf of the state, local government, and tribal government where the applicant was born. Includes the date that the certificate was filed with the office responsible for people providing records. Has the seal, right? This is basically all the basic stuff that's on a birth certificate. They're not asking for anything on a birth certificate that's not already there. An adoption decree if you were adopted, a consular report if you were born abroad. So other than saying a person's name must be on their birth certificate, there's nothing at all in here about women and their maiden names and their married names. There's absolutely nothing about that whatsoever. Now, that doesn't mean that couldn't be some unintended consequence of the law. What I'm saying is it's not written in the law. It is just not there. Another thing people are saying is that you can no longer register by mail. That's not true. You can still register by mail. You just have to provide that proof of citizenship through the mail. And if you can't provide proof of citizenship, you can sign an affidavit stating that you are a citizen. You are doing that under penalty of perjury. Each state will have their own process. Each state will decide on the merits of the affidavits. As far as the removal of non-citizens from registration rolls, that can only happen with proof and documentation that a person is not a citizen of the United States. They can't just throw you off the rolls because they don't have proof that you're a citizen. Someone has to provide proof that you are not a citizen. And what you just saw is almost the entire law. That's how short it is. I hope that answers a lot of your questions. I am sure you will continue to argue about its merits or not. Either way, that's what we know about it. Thanks.